Formula One fans, incredible news. Sensational words from Charles Leclerc on the eve of Abu Dhabi. After 4 Grand Prix races, we understood the SF25 should be thrown away. You heard that right? After only 4 races, Ferrari raised the white flag. It completely abandoned development of the 2025 season to concentrate on 2026. It's a devastating confession, an admission of total failure. But Leclerc's declarations reveal much more. They speak about Ferrari's structural problems, about technical direction that remained practically identical, and raise disturbing questions about the future. What awaits us in 2026 if the same people who got the SF25 wrong are designing the next car? Stay with me, because what I am about to tell you is fundamental. Let's start with Charles Leclerc's sincere words. As always, the Monegasque confesses candidly to journalists, and we really appreciate this sincerity of his. He recounts that Ferrari's 2025 season was particularly painful, because after just 4 Grand Prix races, the team decided to think and dedicate itself mainly to the 2026 car. We realized immediately that the season would go wrong. These are his exact words. And we abandoned the SF25 project. Everyone immediately thinking and dedicating our greatest resources to the car with the new technical regulations. A sensational confession. After 4 races. 4. Melbourne, Shanghai, Miami, Imola. And everything was already over. Ferrari had understood the car was wrong, that there was no possibility of recovery, that the gap to McLaren couldn't be closed. And here comes a fundamental question. With all these constraints that current Formula One technical and sporting regulations have imposed, if a team unfortunately makes a heavy mistake in designing a car for the current season, then it no longer has time to recover. They can't do it. There's a spending limit, even if the team possibly has sufficient economic resources. There's the budget cap. There's a testing problem that can't be carried out. There are constraints such that if a team makes a mistake, as happened to Ferrari, sensationally in car design, after 4 races it raises the white flag and pretends to participate in races, let me say it, already knowing they can't win even a single Grand Prix. This is an extremely heavy distortion of current Formula One. Current Formula One is show business. We've said it many times. It's a distant relative of 70s and 80s Formula One, the one that brought so many fans from all over the world closer to motorsport. It would be right, in my opinion, that if a team needs to recover, it can do so easily, without too many constraints in the way, budget cap, absence of testing, without possibility of conducting track tests to overcome technical impasses. But I'd also like to make another consideration in light of Leclerc's words. What changed at the level of technical office direction between the Ferrari that designed the SF25, born during summer 2024, and the current setup of technical direction? The same elements remained. It's true that Frederic Vasseur is no longer interim head of technical direction, a position I would never have accepted even at the cost of giving up my position as team principal. That was a huge mistake. There's Loic Serra, who should have managed and directed SF25 design, but who wasn't even capable of bringing those upgrades, those modifications, both to the rear suspension and in wear management. To the point that the SF25 should be thrown away already after 4 Grand Prix races. So what can we expect from the 2026 season, given that the setup remained the same as a year ago? Honestly, I confess I'm rather pessimistic. Charles Leclerc is right to hedge his bets, to say, after 4 Grand Prix races, we understood the season was failed. And perhaps it's also a way to say, in quotes, even if he didn't say it, but I think so, watch out for 2026. Because since things remained practically the same at the level of men, setup, and technicians in charge of designing the car for the coming season, since this group of people remained the same. Actually, we also lost Zimmerman, who was head of Ferrari's engine specialists. Zimmerman was on Ferrari's staff. He was a consultant who now decided to dedicate himself to the Audi project. And so what happens? It happens that prospects for 2026 are completely similar to those of 2025. But let's see what Leclerc said in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix press conference. In Qatar, it was a difficult weekend, yes, but we understood what happened. But having a solution is another story. We have an idea, but not a 100% solution. I'm optimistic that here we'll return to where we should be. Problems accentuated by an unfriendly track, but then it depended on us. We hope to be able to change here in Abu Dhabi. And about the season? On a personal level, I'm satisfied with my work, but performances and results don't make me satisfied. As a team, we did well with work on track. What we lack for next year is the car's pace. This year, we concentrated early on next year's car. We hope it's a winning bet. A bet! That's what 2026 is for Ferrari. A gamble, and Leclerc continues. These regulations have been very difficult. In the factory, they were often surprised that bringing an update to track didn't work as expected. You understand? Updates didn't work. Correlation between simulations and track was completely wrong. It's an extremely serious problem of working method, of tools, of skills. For the Prancing Horses number 16 driver, it hasn't been a simple season. Certainly we've seen how Leclerc made enormous steps forward from several points of view. But unfortunately, the results obtained don't reflect the efforts made. Ferrari abandoned SF25 development already after the first 3 or 4 races, because it understood the gap to McLaren couldn't be recovered. Maranello's technicians preferred to concentrate on 2026 very early. The Monegasque hopes this bet can be worth an advantage in the new regulatory cycle. But doubts remain, because if they're the same people who got the SF25 wrong, how can they get the 2026 car right? I'm pessimistic. Leclerc is right to hedge his bets, to say, watch out for 2025, because if 2026 should also go the same way, then you'll definitely see me leave. These are Leclerc's unspoken but implied words. It's a clear warning. If 2026 is another failure, Leclerc could seriously consider leaving Ferrari. And who could blame him? A driver of his talent can't afford to waste more years with an uncompetitive car. He's already given too much. He's waited too long. The truth is raw and painful. Ferrari threw away an entire season after 4 races. It admitted failure. It raised the white flag and prospects for 2026 with the same technical direction, with the same methodological errors, with the same inability to make updates work. They're pessimistic. Leclerc knows it, and he's telling us clearly. After 4 Grand Prix races, we understood the SF25 should be thrown away. It's a devastating confession. That casts long shadows on the future. And the question we're all asking is, if Ferrari understood after 4 races that the SF25 was wrong, why are the same people designing the 2026 car? Why weren't they changed? Why is Sarah still there? Why is Vasseur still team principal? These are legitimate questions. Questions that Ferrari must answer, because fans deserve clarity. They deserve transparency. They deserve to know if 2026 will be another wasted season. We hope Abu Dhabi is a good race. We hope Ferrari shows at least a glimmer of competitiveness. But all signals are negative. And Leclerc's words are an alarm bell we cannot ignore.